Hey, what's up, everybody out there? So, as you guys see in the title, in the thumbnail, we have the 5 oldest and most traditional active barrios in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The reason why I threw in the active part is because there's a couple older neighborhoods, that are located in the same downtown area, like Old Town, for instance. That's a little bit older, but they don't really have a barrio anymore. These are gang neighborhoods that actually still have a gang that date back centuries, actually, some of them. So a lot of these neighborhoods are focused right near downtown, right around the big building area, because back, hundreds of years ago, you got to remember Albuquerque was founded in 1706. These were small farming villages of hundreds of people. So as Albuquerque grew, they built outwards from these villages. What's now inner city became suburbs, and more, or what was then suburbs became inner city and inner city and inner city and so forth. So most of these neighborhoods right here are located, within a mile or two of each other. Let's put it like that, right around the big buildings, right around downtown. People know what I'm talking about. Here we go then, one neighborhood, which is Los Padillas. Well, here we go. That brings us to number 1 on the list. Los Padillas. Yeah, Los Padillas neighborhood. Located at the very bottom of the South Valley by down Pajarito, and they have their own area. It's Padillas. And Los Padillas is an extended family settlement which was resettled in 1718 by Diego de Padilla. His grandparents had lived on the site prior to the 1680 Pueblo Revolt, at which time they were forced to abandon it. In the 1790 census, the town, referred to as San Andres de los Padillas, had a population of 168. This is the site of the old Los Padillas school, originally built in 1901 and replaced in 1912. I put that as number 1 on the list because not only is it one of the oldest, but it's definitely the most influential neighborhood in Albuquerque and maybe the Southwest, period. Ruthless, if you guys want to know more about the set in general, Los Padillas, check out my video about Los Padillas in Albuquerque gangland. This is not that episode about the gang, but it's more so about the top 5. So this is definitely number 1. Like I said, being as it dates back to the 1600s, 1718, 16 since prior to 1680. That's going to be one of the oldest by far, and they still have major influential holds on the community, all the way from the young until the elder. And speaking of the elders, that's named after the family, of course, the Padillas. So who are heirs of George Padilla, which you guys are wondering who that is. He's an elder of the father of Jeffrey and Jerry Padilla, He had been locked up in the early 60s, I believe it was, mid 70s in California, and came back to New Mexico he was a member of the MA. And so he came back to New Mexico from Cali and was locked up, and showed him the structure that he had learned from California. So a lot of the roots of MA or in ties from George Padilla to this day stay strong with the Padilla boys. And then you got Jeff Padilla, which he was a reputed leader of the Los Padillas street gang. So shout out to Los Padillas as number 1 on the list. Number 2, we have Martinez Town. Martinez Town is located right there, like I said, by that downtown area where a lot of these neighborhoods are located. Santa Barbara Park, that's their park. Martinez Town's a very old neighborhood. It can trace its root to the early 1800s, in the late 1700s, as a popular summer pasture land. It continued to grow in the 1820s as a stop for traders and travelers along El Camino Real. It blossomed as at the crossroads of trade, agriculture, and commerce. If you guys want to know more about that neighborhood or the set in general, like I said, again, check out my Albuquerque Ganglands. I have that one on there. BMT, or Barrio Martinez Town. You know, they wear red. They're located right there, just like to the, I want to say, northeast of downtown, of the big buildings. So they're number 2 on our list. Number 3 on our list for oldest, most influential, traditional Hispanic barrios of Albuquerque, New Mexico is going to be San Jose. A lot of people get this confused. I've had a lot of questions. People ask me if this neighborhood or this gang comes from California. It's slightly related due to they're both named after Saint Jose from, you know, he's a famous, almost like an actor back in the days of Catholicism, you know, and the Crusades. Their saints were very big. San Francisco, San Diego, you know, they were revered and worshipped. So it is the same San Jose, but no, it doesn't come from California. This San Jose, right, is a neighborhood in southern Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was originally a separate village, but was absorbed into the city in the 20th century. San Jose was first settled as a, you know, Hispanic farming community in the mid 1800s, but transitioned to a working class urban neighborhood after the arrival of the railroad in 1880. The neighborhood includes a mix of residential and industrial properties, with the commercial district centered on the Broadway Boulevard. San Jose was probably first settled around the same time as Barelas Ditch. It was originally constructed in the 1830s. It was originally a Hispanic farming village whose residents grew corn, fruit, and alfalfa on narrow plots perpendicular to the ditch. After the railroad reached Albuquerque in the 1880s, the community shifted toward more urban industrial land use, with many residents employed by the Santa Fe Railroad shops. The existing farmland was subdivided into residential lots, resulting in somewhat chaotic street patterns, similar to the older neighborhoods in the city. The main street or the community at this time was William Street, but it later shifted to Broadway Boulevard. After the decline of the railroad industry, the area saw population loss and increased poverty. The large number of active and formal industrial sites in San Jose and the adjacent Mountain View area also posed public health issues, including groundwater contamination. Part of the neighborhood was listed as New Mexico's first Superfund site in 1983. So in other words, you know, was a beautiful place, became ghetto, basically is what they're saying. After years, the water became contaminated. They turned it residential, and as we all know, it became what we know today. Even though there's deep community, like it says here, going back to the early 1800s, it's also gang infested, you know, low income, and they have a strong set, which is going to be San Jose Sharks. You know, San Jose, East Side San Jose 16, South Side San Jose. The neighborhood is split into two. You know, and they're their own entity. Yes, they wear San Jose Sharks gear from the California, I believe it is a hockey team. But that's just because it says San Jose on all their gear, you know, and that's why they rock the Sharks thing. The neighborhood has been around for hundreds of years. So that's number 3. Number 4, we have Barelas. Barelas is an inner city neighborhood in Albuquerque, New Mexico, located immediately south or downtown. It consists of the triangular area bounded by Cole Avenue, the BNSF railroad tracks, and the Rio Grande. Originally a separate village, it was absorbed into Albuquerque during the railroad-fueled growth of the 1880s, but still retains a distinct identity. The settlement was formally established in 1662, predating even Old Town as the oldest neighborhood in the city. Yes, sir, so you guys heard it right there. You know what I mean? Predating even Old Town. Barelas, oldest neighborhood in the city. You know, the reason why I didn't put it as number one, because these aren't necessarily, as you can see, in order from first oldest to number fifth oldest. You know what I mean? I actually put them in order from what I felt like was most influential, but it's still in the top five, being number one oldest. Barelas, BX13, they are still active. Rest in peace to Boggle. They're located right there by the zoo. Again, gave the area just south of downtown. And then here, number five. We have a lot of old neighborhoods in Albuquerque, so it was hard to come up with this one, but and also the way I did it was a little different here. So number five is gonna be Los Griegos community, or Brewtown. Now the reason why I chose Los Griegos is because of the age of it, and you know, Los Griegos is located in Albuquerque's beautiful North Valley. The area was originally a land grant to Juan Griego, hence the name, in 1708. The area was annexed by Albuquerque in the 1940s and 1950s. The neighborhood consists of many families who lived in the area for generations, as well as neighbors who discovered that a wonderful community exists in Los Griegos more recently. So there is going to be more recently. So that does gentrification is occurring there, but they do have a strong set. You know, they're part of one of the oldest sets, which is going to be Brewtown. Spider Locals, that's their neighborhood. Los Griegos used to have their own set, but they're one of like 5 little communities in that area that fall under one mega gang, which is going to be Brewtown, BTL, BTS South, Spider Lokes, and Thug Life Crew. They're actually splitting it too. You can look up more about that one also. All these neighborhoods are in my ganglands. So if you want to know more and more about them, look at some of their members, some photos, you guys make sure you check out my Albuquerque ganglands. But anyway though, so Los Griegos falls under Brewtown. Brewtown, like I said, is like 5 neighborhoods in one. That's their gang. They started from the Brewtown Bombers, which was a baseball team in the 1950s, early 1950s, 1940s. Yeah, and then they got the name Brewtown because right there along 4th Street, and they used to sell a lot of liquor. That's what I was told. They used to have like a lot of corner store bars, drive-thrus where you could just go buy your beer. So you could buy a lot of brew there, you could drink there, hence Brewtown. Again, and that's one of the older sets, but as you can see, the neighborhood, the actual neighborhood of them, I mean, been around since, what did it say, in 1708? 1700s. So there you guys have it right there. You know, the 5 oldest and most traditional Hispanic barrios located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know what I mean? You guys have a good one. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. Got plenty of more content coming your way.